restful, present position and feeling. You can just take a moment to close your eyes. Take a deep breath. Just let your body settle into the chair. Feel your feet on the floor. Feel the space around you and the space in the room as it changes, as the energy of Kryon unfolds, as the energy of the family that we are here together begins to be felt more and more by each of us. And take another breath. And feel how good it is to be right here, right now. How blessed we are that Spirit has conspired to bring us together from all over the planet into this room and this time and this love, so that we may experience it together, so that we may be supported by that love, and our lives be touched, and the energy come into us from the entourage and from Kryon, and bring healing to our lives. One more breath. Breathe in the possibility of that healing, and just give yourself to it during the message from Kryon. And let the love that comes from these words wash over you. Receive it as the beautiful blessing that it is.
Greetings, dear ones. I am Kryon of Magnetic Service. Many have not seen this. It's different when you're in the room. Available to you are energies that the listeners will not have. Available to you is a two-way conversation, because for you it's happening in real time, yet the listeners won't have. And yet, with all the potential of this, so many right now are having their brains go into an overactive point that are asking, is it real? Reality is this way, dear human being. If you haven't seen it, you've been told it cannot be, or it's just too odd or strange from what you would do. The psyche of the human being will put it into a box that says, I'll look at it later, it's just a little odd. Meanwhile, there's angelic presence in the room. God is here. God is always here. The masters of the planet have told you this over and over, no matter how strange were the things they were doing or the miracles they were performing. Always the bottom line, that the creative source is in you, is in the planet, in the dirt, and is always around you, loves you, and looking at you. Well, you try to figure out whether the channeling is real. It could be that there are entities here who know you so well to start a process that you ask for and have been on your knees for while you figure out whether the guy in the chair is real. That's what's happening right now, right here. How many times have we said this to you? Old soul, you have been through it all. And you come into the planet right now with the same attributes that you've always had at first, and that is questioning. Because you don't want to make the same mistake perhaps you did before, where you might have opened and found something you didn't expect and it changed you forever. Maybe even died because of it. This is the attribute. The skepticalness is common. And the interesting thing on the planet that I have never said before is that the most skeptical people are the ones who are old souls. The newbies of the planet are wide open. If you talk about spiritual things, it's like a magnet to them. Yes, they go. With you, you're still trying to figure out if it's real. You're still in the box, aren't you? The invitation has always been the same. This particular channeling opens the door to the day. And the door is that of your disbelief. Are you or are you not going to let these things show themselves to you? And the thing is, you have free choice. And the free choice is absolute. Spirit never violates free choice. We can't even knock on the door. The knob is only on one side. You got to open it. But if you even intend to open it or open it a crack to see if it's okay, you've opened it. And that gives us permission to slide through the crack the beauty and benevolence of the love of God. To wake you up at night and ask you, are you ready for more? To make you see perhaps that God is bigger than anything you've ever been told, ever, and knows your name. For some of you, we're still sliding things under the door. And for others, there's no door. No door. You opened it so wide it came off its hinges. Old soul, we know the paths are different for you. The acknowledgement over and over from the Kryon work has been this: that you are so unique and so different, there cannot be one manual for all, or one set of steps for all. For the grade levels of your discovery and your learning wise knowledge that you might be receiving is all different levels. There is no linearity with God. One of the things that we are going to discuss yet again tonight, some will say it's a review, but it will be filled with new things, is how the majesty of the consciousness of spirit is way beyond the consciousness of humans. Pure love, unconditional in every single way, is trying to get through to you. Some of you are starting to receive messages and you're asking, what do they mean? Don't confuse human nature with God nature. If you're getting messages, you're starting to ask, what does it mean? I want you to relax. What if it meant nothing except, hello, I love you? Is that good enough? When your relative calls you from a faraway place, you haven't heard them for a long, long time, and they say, we just wanted to touch base and say how much we love you and your family, and you say, thank you, mom, dad, sister, brother, and you hang up the phone. Your heart feels good. Or do you hang up the phone and you say, I wonder what they meant by that? You only do that if you're a psychologist, by the way. That was a Kryon joke. You try to analyze every contact, and sometimes we just are there to hug you. How many of you spent time trying to analyze the numbers you see everywhere? Why am I seeing the numbers? What do the numbers mean? What am I supposed to do? What am I missing? I want to tell you, an angel visited you and gave you some numbers so that you'd know it was out of sequence of randomness. In other words, it had to be coherent. It had to be on purpose. Just to say, I'm here, I validate, I love you, and that you are part of God. Hello. And you want to analyze it. The next time you have these kinds of things happen, I want you to put your hand on your heart. I want you to say, thank you, God, for loving me enough to give me that. I love you back. It's simple. Maybe it's overly simple, but it's the truth. Did you know that Spirit has different ways of saying hello, depending upon how dense you are? Spirit gave my partner a 3-year hello before he would say hello back, because his mind was not ready for love. I say this to show you how much we know about you. We really do. So, skeptic or not, what are you holding back? We know you. How can we show you the love we have? Let me ask the big question this day. Would you open the box and the door to allow what you ask for? Or are you going to ask in the closet, hoping somebody will open the door for you? That's the metaphor. We know your prayers, your affirmations, and we also know the box, how tight it is, if you've opened the door or not. This room and those who are listening have attributes that are filled with potentials right now of solution and healing. And based upon all that we have seen so far with humanity and this new time, there will be those who will get up from their chairs and will say, I'll look again later. And they'll miss it. You asked for it, and here it is. Why don't you take your hand and receive it? I'll be back. And so it is.
So as we begin to bring the energy into a quieter place, a more receptive place, just let your body and your consciousness settle a little bit in this moment. And take a breath. And know that there is nothing for you to do, just to be right here with us, with the beautiful energy of love and family. And let yourself feel the blessings in the room that you create, that we create together. Feeling the energy of the cosmos coming in through the crown of your head and just settling for a moment in your heart, saying hello. And then moving through your body, down your legs, into your feet, connecting with our beautiful Mother Gaia, right here right now in this room. And letting yourself just find the stillness of that connection between heaven and earth. And in that stillness is that beautiful heart of yours, that space where your breath lives, where your light lives, where the softness of divine love always lives for you. Even when we forget, it's still there waiting for you to take another breath and move through your body, your consciousness, into that place of receiving divine love.
Greetings, dear ones. I'm Kryon of Magnetic Service. Take a moment and honor that which is here. I would not tell you things that are not so. There is a maturity of awareness that is in the room, that lays upon you like a blanket of benevolence, as it honors the role of the old soul in the future. And what we are going to speak of in these short moments has been spoken of many times through the years. And we're going to give a summation of it today, pulling it all together. In this particular year, the year of 2, we call it year 2 because it is the second year of acceleration of the new energy. The first year being 2014, this being the second. Things are beginning to shift on the planet dramatically. Unexpected things to your psyche are before you. We have told you not to despair, do not worry, that it is part of a recalibration of everything. And we've asked you to see and feel the benevolence of God in all of it. And then there are the instructions for you. Old soul, you are beginning to recalibrate how you feel about God. What follows should have a title. And humans love titles, so we will call it Accelerated Awareness, the Rise of Spiritual Common Sense. It is time for you to finally understand and separate in a mature way the consciousness of the Creator versus the consciousness of a human. Many years ago, I told my partner to write a book called Don't Think Like a Human. To this day, the title is catchy, and many agree that this would be nice. Now, it's a prerequisite. And we're going to give you a number of attributes. I'll even call them items that are things to work on and understand and to realize that are involved in everyday life, and you will relate to these things because they are how humanity has worked with God in the past. We've given you channels through the years that told you not to take the consciousness of humans and place it upon God. And this is another one of them. Only this one is maybe perhaps a wrap-up. and the reality of what follows in your lives, for you to take this information seriously, pass it around, give others the information, perhaps by having them read or listen to these words as we discuss a beautiful, beautiful system. Dear ones, how do you perceive God? In an old energy, that is to say, the energy that humans have always been in up to this point, there has been perhaps a bias. And the bias is that you think of God as a parent figure. You even name some of your religious leaders Father. And the paradigm of parenting, therefore, is what you would then apply to the Creator of the universe. It's the best you had. It's honoring in your mind. But dear ones, in the parenting and humans to children, you have also applied all of the other human attributes that parents would have, that fathers would have, and they would be a list that is endless. And they would all be human emotion. Anger, punishment, control, do as you're told, authority, on and on. You have the idea that God is the shepherd and you are the sheep. And this has been used over and over in a very benevolent way of how you should then see the Creator of the universe. The father syndrome. It's the first one we tell you to break. 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 There is no relationship like parenting when it comes to the Almighty. You are family, but we are not parents. We are the family with you. We are your best friend, your brother, and your sister. We are spiritual lovers of humanity. There is no anger. There is no punishment. There is no punishment. Dear ones, your life here is by your agreement with the Creator in order for a test of energy, and that is all it is. You're not in a scenario of good and bad punishment. All of the things that humans do with humans is not what God does. How can we then show you or tell you? Can you understand the statement, the Creator of the universe is not a human? Does not have human consciousness, does not have human nature, therefore does not have anger, does not have punishment, doesn't want to control, and you're not sheep. Could it be any clearer? The closer you get to the source which is inside you, which is God, the more you will feel this arrangement we have. One single hand reaches out to you that is the Creator and is all that is, asking you to take it, not so you will be controlled as sheep, but so you'll be included in the creative source. The closer you get through your higher self to that which is this creative source which you call God, the stronger influence of compassion you will have on this planet. Like the masters that came before you, who were not angry and who did not punish and did not want you to be sheep. That's number one. Could it be any clearer? To change the paradigm of the relationship to the part of you which is creation. We're looking at all of these things closely. And we have so many of them. There are those in this room who wanted to hear this, who've been climbing steps all their life in order to satisfy something they believe that Spirit wants, who have suffered enough and want to just hear these few things that you should know. Dear ones, there is no hierarchy. Could it be that there is nobody in charge? It is a human attribute. Don't you understand this? In order for you to group together and accomplish anything, there's a structure. It's human. It's everywhere. There's always somebody in charge. Always. No matter where you go, no matter what you do, even the hermit in the field, somebody owns the field. Someone's in charge. Somebody has to be there. Even in the middle of the ocean, someone's in charge. You'll say, well, now it is Neptune. Or now it is Mother Nature. There's always a force above you. And you apply that situation, a hierarchy, to God. You have created that which is hierarchical even in the angels. You have master angels. You have ones that are in charge of others. You've got books filled of who answers to whom. And they don't. And they don't. You see, the structure of Spirit, of what you call God, is different than you imagine. There is one consciousness that is in charge, and one consciousness is also the family. It is hard to describe to you a multidimensional aspect that you do not have. Imagine for a moment there was a consciousness that everyone had, and you were all in charge. If you had that, then there would be no followers. There would be no less than. You'd all know what to do instantly and would do it in complementary fashion with the others because you were all in charge. You saw what had to be done. You would then have the solutions all together as one. That is the mind of God. The angelic beings are not in a hierarchy. You say there is Archangel Michael. Michael would be the first to tell you there isn't. But honors the fact that you would see there was in order to facilitate yourselves and be comfortable in 3D. Do you see? It is time to get out of the fallacies of an old energy where you apply all human nature to God. Number 3, you always have to pay something to get something. You have applied this to absolutely everything in your life. Even physics sees a certain way of the way things work in 3-dimensional. Where there's no such thing as free energy, it simply changes its form. You've got to pay the price in order to move from A to B. There has to be a transition. Even in physics, energy must move this way in order for you to get this. There is a payment plan for everything. And you applied that to God. Oh, did you? So here comes the creating force of the universe. And the first thing you're going to ask is, what do I have to do? If you give up your energy, if you're going to count some beads, if you're going to do something, it's going to be to pay Spirit so that you can exist as good in the eyes of God. Let me tell you something. You are born magnificent and perfect and always are. Always are. There is nothing you can do that will diminish you in the eyes of the Creator. Oh, you may disappoint yourself. You may disappoint society. You are here for a reason, and the test is here. You may make some funny decisions that other humans don't like, and God loves you the same. Did you hear that? And when you die and transfer energy for a moment to my side of the veil before you return, when you do, there is a party that celebrates that which you did, called living life on the planet and being part of the puzzle. Everyone, from the minister to the one in prison. Do you hear me? And this does not compute, does it? It doesn't work for you. Anyone listening to my voice, I'll tell you, you say, there has to be a punishment, a payment. You have to pay to get something. No, you don't. You arrived on this planet on purpose, and you didn't pay anybody to get here. And it wasn't a punishment. Why do you assign negative and positive energies to everything that happens? And you do. That is human nature. Every single organization that is spiritual, including this one, if you want to call it an organization, it's an organization of consciousness, has that in it. There's got to be something you must do to have the favor of God. And then you ask, am I doing it right? Oh, yes, you are. By being in the chair and loving God, you're doing it right. There are certain societies where human beings act like children who are spiritual and they don't know any better. And it still goes on. Charlatans who know far, far better will tell you that for a certain price they can forgive your sins or propel you in heaven or even affect your ancestors, and you hand over the money. This is still on today. Dear old soul, break this paradigm in any way you can. When anybody talks to you about reward and punishment and payment, when it comes to the Almighty, you tell them you're part of the family and you're all paid up, all right? There are those, so many, who besiege God right now, right this moment, in prayer, bending over and saying, how can we get clean in the eyes of God? And they don't know that they were never dirty. Who told them they were dirty? And why would they? Break the paradigm. Born magnificent, family and clean forever. Your timing, number 4, is not God's timing. And yet you make it that way. It's a habit that way. My partner even gave a full lecture series and recorded a video about it because it is so prevalent among you. Somebody has to hear this. You came today to hear this. When you get a strong intuition about something that may be in your future, you take it and you hold it to yourself and you thank God for finally giving you some instructions on what to do. You're going to go over here, you're going to start a school, you're going to write a book. You're going to do this, you're going to do that. And then you do it. And it doesn't work. It doesn't work spectacularly. It fails. Use the word. And then what do? You You do the human thing. You say, what did I do wrong? How did I displease God? All of those things are simply running in circles of human nature and not having any idea about how the Creator works. If any of you at any time get a message about something that is coming or an inkling or a feeling, I want you to promise me you'll have common sense that is spiritual and see it for what it is. What it is a potential that may very well happen, and the synchronicity will be created when it's time and not on your clock. I want to show you why you do what you do, and we've discussed this before. All of human nature has the authority figure asking you to do something or telling you to do something, and you doing it immediately. When your father said, clean up your room, when were you supposed to do it? When your boss tells you they want something, when were you supposed to do it? And the answer is always now. So Spirit gives you intuition about something that's going to happen, something that's in the works, or for you, something you're supposed to do, and you instantly knee-jerk it into reality now. And it fails. Promise me that you will have the wherewithal and the maturity to say, thank you, God, for this information. It's beautiful. And I will wait patiently for the synchronicity that will begin to realize and fulfill this. For I am family and I understand the principles of synchronicity and the timing of Spirit. I want you to see it in the bigger picture. These things that you are working on are potentials. You may be shown something far before someone else who will be part of it is shown. You're going to have to wait for them. For things to come together in a synchronicity, in a society of free choice, they also may change. They may morph into something else, and you will be given that. And yet there are humans that are angry at God because they didn't get number one, they got number two. And when you ask them, well, number two was better, and you say, yes, but number one is what he told me. What did I do wrong? Not understanding. God does not have a list for you. These are energies of potential and the timing of Spirit, not on your clock. Promise me that you won't launch out just because you got the message or the inkling, but that you will wait in a mature fashion for the timing of Spirit and know it when you see it and be comfortable with it. Old soul, mature, common sense should prevail. Number 5, the last one. Purpose. How many sales meetings have you attended? And they all tell you the same thing. In order to have something happen, you have to have a goal. It would be helpful to paste things magnetically on the refrigerator to remind you. Maybe you should go to meetings where other people have the same goals and reiterate them. None of that is what God has. None of that. And we said it before. Your purpose on the planet has nothing to do with your works. Did you hear that? There are sayings that some of you have heard all your life. By your works will you be known. Let me tell you another saying. By your magnificence on the planet will you be known, which is you in the chair listening today. How about that? By your magnificence of being a human and going through this will you be known. Not by what you do while you're here. The magnificence of the old soul will be increased even more through compassionate action, and we have said that. That's what you're here for. If you really want a goal, I will give it to you. Compassionate action. Live like a master. And you will say to me, it's hard. And I will say to you, that's why we call you light worker. It's hard. It is. You have the maturity and the life experience on this planet to achieve all that you set out to achieve. In this life and others that you will live, by your magnificence will you be known as those who will create peace on earth and take it into ascension eventually. That's how we know you, family. By your name in lights. Your name sung in the light form. That's how we know you. And that's real different from having a goal. All of the things that we have given you this day are things of human nature pasted upon the countenance of God. And it would include almost every single one of the structures of that which is spiritual in any organization on the planet. And we ask you to change it. And when you begin to do this, dear ones, you're going to find an increase in love, benevolence, understanding, and peace. You realize there's no more steps to climb to please God. All you have to do is open the door and take the hand of the family that you are. Could it be simpler? Dear ones, this is the message. Profound, complete. And so it is.